from the last couple of weeks. That is just being to our Cappers Club Facebook group. Have you both been able to join that already?
Yes, I joined last week.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead. So let's share. It'll feel a little bit more small room today, but tell me, so Laureen or Sarah, whoever wants to go first, but you got a good win you want to share?
I just closed $1 million home.
You closed it. Oh, congratulations. Yeah. That's awesome. That is awesome. It's always a good feeling, right?
Yeah, last week we closed. Yep, that was really good.
That's awesome. What now, out of curiosity, so was that a easy or a tough transaction?
Very tough.
Very tough. Okay. Well,
very tough.
They made you work for that awesome commission, huh?
Oh yeah. The seller definitely made us work. Never work with Interbank. Never work with Interbank for solar.
Interbank, bad experience. Okay.
Bad experience.
Yeah, I'm considering myself lucky because I have a client assuming a VA loan right now, and two people that I asked are like, worst experience ever. They don't care, right? Because they're not getting paid anything to transfer this over, but and like so far it's been like very smooth. So I'm like, maybe I'm gonna get lucky. But so, and I mentioned it too because $989 purchase price, so just a notch under, right, Lauren? So you got, if yours hit $1 million, then you got me beat. But it's been really interesting watching a luxury situation go through an assumption, so
that's a new one.
Yeah. And so, by the way, just in case you guys come across this, and I feel like more and more these should be popping up, but I found a lender after calling 25 of them who he's a broker and the wholesale company is Jet Closing. And he's like, look, they're not my favorite to work with, but they were willing to do a second mortgage, even though the first is being assumed. And they're doing it up to 90% combined loan to value, right? Because the first was only like 75%. And my guy's like, look, Alex, I already told you I was ready to, put down 100, 150. He's like, 300 is a lot, in difference. And so I was like, this was like the perfect house for them because, of course, the wife's like not seeing what she wants at the 700 they're really at, but they could afford this one at 99, even with a second mortgage. And so I'm like, boom, I never made so many calls to make a deal happen. But so yeah, this guy, Patrick over at Price Mortgage, he was able to do that second, just FYI. I always like to give kudos where kudos is owed. So. Jackie, welcome to the call. We just been chit-chatting a little bit. So Lorraine shared her win on $1 million closing. So congratulations to her. And Sarah, how about you? You got a win you want to share?
Probably my win for this week. I only wish it was $1 million closing, but reached out. I keep reaching out to past clients in my sphere, and I do have someone now who I had helped them buy a few years ago, and they are probably going to be moving out of state, but help them get a referral. But just touching base. I mean, that's at least I'm doing when it's hot, some lead generation.
You never know. Yeah. I by the way, full disclaimer, since you guys are a couple weeks into this with us, Jackie, like I never share wins in the sense of like full disclosure, I'm never bragging. I share it because I'm hoping that it encourages, and just because when you're on that 30th care call, and you're like, I would really love a referral right now. Right. You never know. Right. My buddy is going through hell right now. I'm only sharing, I'm not going to share his name, but what he's going through, right? Like, going through a nasty divorce, hasn't seen his kids in a month, like all this stuff. And yet, because of us staying in touch, I mean, like, I know this is going on. So I'm just, I got the reminder. Anytime I know somebody's struggling with something tougher than somebody else, like, they're getting weekly check-ins from me. So I put the reminder in command, right? And I'm like, just send a text, ask how they're doing, right? And even with everything he's got going on, in his own world, To this morning, he texts me, goes, "Hey man," he's like, "How is everything going in your world?" And, I thought, now it was coming back the other way where he's just checking in. Right. And then he goes, "I got a buddy in Cali who's looking to buy a house in AZ." And I'm like, dude, you're going through like I can't even imagine what you're going through, right? Like I'd be losing my mind, and you're still like, "Hey, let me connect two friends together," So they're there. We just got to stay relevant in people's world, and they will show up. So, but great job on making those care calls. That is huge. So it's awesome. Jackie, how about you? You got a win you'd like to share with the group?
I think my win would be I had a couple buyers actually do their application with the lender. So it was like, okay, we got something going, so when you have connections and you're talking to people about, starting the process of buying, you're just kind of like, well, this is your step that you have to take. So the fact that they did that was my win over the weekend.
Well, great job standing strong. And I say this as someone who wasn't so good at this in the beginning of his own career and watching agents, over the last 12 years. Great job knowing that that's an important step, making sure that they're taking that, because can't tell you, you'd watch agents being like, "Yeah, I'm showing properties. No, they haven't gotten pre-qualified yet, but they're going to once they find a house they like." And I'm like, yeah.
I feel like that's always like the first thing that I'm like, okay, if we can get to that, at least we know that like they're going to get somewhere quicker than not doing that at all. Because, find some stuff out that they have to work, they have to work towards fixing credit, or they have to work towards paying debt off. And so it's so important that they just, that they do that in order to really get things moving.
Yeah, my own personal eye-opening experience was when so I'd always had the vision of having a team, and so I got into real estate because of my best friend. Him and I just worked him and I for a couple of years before we were like, hey, we should hire a transaction coordinator, then an assistant, then bring on agents. But when we really got heavy into the internet lead generation, it was in the efforts of trying to get better conversion rates out of our internet leads that I had a very eye-opening experience, which was even when someone on the phone was like, "Yeah, I can't do anything for a year, I just renewed my lease, I'm good." We were like, "Hey, can we please still meet with you?" Mm-hmm. I know it may seem silly, but like, we would love to meet with you, give you our book. We have a book that's going to educate you on the home buying process. So, like it'll serve for one or two things, right? Like it'll either teach you exactly what you need to know so you're prepared, or if it bores you, it'll at least put you to sleep if you have a restless night, so one way you're going to win either way. But we would meet with them, and then we would share with them exactly. And that was our script was, hey, out of curiosity, would it be beneficial to you to have a financial like a finance conversation with one of our partners to tell you where you're at now to make sure you're going to be okay in a year, right? And it was, we would change the wording up and test stuff, like have a financial review, right? But we would stay away from like talking to a lender. That wasn't the wording we would use, right? And they would go, "Oh, that'd be awesome. How does that work?" And I go, so then we'd be like, "Hey, so this is who we partner with. And we know, that like there's nothing worse than thinking that you're going to talk to someone and be like, nope, you've been denied, click." Right. That's what we fear, right? Is being told no or denied and not get better clarity. And I go, we purposely work with this individual, and they understand that their job is that if you're not ready, tell you everything that you need to do to be ready. Right. And so most times than not, people go, "Yeah, like, is it gonna," the obvious question, like, "Is it gonna hurt my credit?" I go, "It is, but that couple points that it could hurt you today could set you so far in advance for the future, so that you're not finding this out in a year," right? And that's what we tend to find out is the people who do come to us because they're like, "I need to move in the next 30 to 60 days, my lease is up," and then they're getting bad news, and they go, "Oh, that makes perfect sense." So ironically, our statistic was this: for every 10 people who told us they were 1 year out and were willing to talk to the lender, 10% of them, so 1 out of 10, would actually end up buying in the next 2 to 3 weeks after that when they found out that they qualified. A lot of people set 1 year because it sounds like forever in our brains. I can hit my weight goal, the weight that I want to achieve. I can hit that goal in a year. I can save up enough money in a year. I can fix my credit in a year. I can whatever, right? Like, we believe that a year is substantial amount of time. But as we all know, all of a sudden we look up and we're like, wow, I didn't do anything in the last 6 months. This is coming up. Am I going to have the money? Am I going to do this? So we really do really help people kind of at least know where they're at. None of those people were forced to buy a home. I think you all know that, right? But once they got like the approval from the lender, like, hey, you're good to go now, they're like, well, why should I wait then? And we're like, I don't know. You told us that you needed a year, right? So, yeah. But great job moving those people to get pre-qualified. That's really the takeaway here. And I'm extremely proud of you. I know you're chugging along over there. So great job on your part. Mr. Casey, Mr. Capper, what's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. You got a win you'd like to share with the group?
My 12U softball team won the Southwest Regional Championship this weekend. And that's close to anything I did with real estate for the last week, if I'm being honest about it. But
we're going to pretend that you network with all the parents while
but that's actually where I was going. Is the tie-in is we have a big event this coming Friday. There should be probably about 1,000 people at. And as you and I talked to you about, we've set up essentially a scholarship opportunity for all these girls. So anyone that refers to me, anything else, I donate money into the scholarship fund that basically helps fund kids who don't have the money to come play at a high competitive level. So it offsets it, but we're setting up a whole, I hate to say booth because that sounds terribly sterile, but it's kind of booth, yeah. And really around these girls and helping on that. And so we partnered with them. We're hoping to be able to kind of parlay that. And then quite frankly, our success this weekend probably shouldn't hurt because there's a lot of people in the softball world anyway that give a crap about it, not anywhere else for that. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on.
Nice job, man.
I got a couple other commercial property or commercial investors that want to talk to me. So I'm working on those as well and just kind of trying to continue to build the pipeline. That's really been the goal and the focus.
I love it, man. Great job. Congratulations on the win. I know that's a huge part of your life. And so I know you in networking, in the little bit of time that we've known each other. So, congratulations as a coach, congratulations as an agent, man. So
thanks.
Yep. All right. Miss Crystal. Hello. You got a win you want to share with the group?
Yeah, I had horses delivered last week. So that's my personal, very unexpected win. Some of you know, I've joked forever. I've got donkey money, not horse money. And horses happened. So here we are.
That little farm of yours is growing, man.
It's complete. No more heartbeats. No more heartbeats. Yeah. And then I've got two clients that'll be repeat clients that are just coming around the corner. So that's always neat. Have people kind of coming back. There'll be the third and fourth for one and the second for the other. So it's exciting.
Third and fourth?
Mm-hmm.
Is it that one client? I don't know. I feel like I keep track of your people. So
it was, so the buyer that I had helped at the same time I bought my house out here. Yeah. That then got into hot water and we had to do the loan assumption.
Yeah, him.
Okay. Yeah, so now he's got conservatorship over mom because her dementia is just getting in a way that she's needing a lot of help. And so they're going to sell that condo of hers and then purchase a new home that's more suitable for her spatially and safety and things like that. So it'll allow him to take care of mom. So nice. It's weird how the world runs,
There's a lesson there, guys. Like you never know what client all of a sudden just turns into multiple transactions for you. So
it's so unexpected, especially with the price point on this one.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. Well, congratulations, Crystal.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Balin, I know you just shut off the camera, but if you're still available, you got a win you'd like to share with the group?
Yeah, I'm here. Good to be here. So yeah, actually interesting. It's not my win. It's wins of the team. I'll just like to highlight one agent. So, I mean, I guess I'll name them. So Jenna has been doing fantastic for the past 6 weeks now. So in just August alone, she signed 3 buyers. And to her credit, I actually myself, I got a referral from someone I knew 9 years ago. And what they did was they had a referral that they signed up on my website, and they had requested to talk to me, but it was just a lead on my website. And Jenna got to them, set up the appointment. Now they're pre-qualified looking at home. So I was like, go ahead, take it. She's doing the right activities. So it's just really cool to see others grow and succeed.
I do have to highlight that on Ryan's team, the Balin Group, like, you don't sign a buyer until they're pre-qualified. So not just a buyer broker agreement, but like all 3 of those people are pre-qualified, right? So yeah, right. And she did that just to expand on it, right? It was Brian's a heavy lead generator, so he tends to tee things up, but this was like Jenna's picking up the phone herself, going through the leads and finding these 3 people. So yeah, I agree. Shout out to Jenna for sure. So awesome. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you sharing that. All right, guys. I'm going to be a little bit of a broken record. If you've been paying attention, and if you haven't been paying attention, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So, and then great, that's fantastic. So by the way, we're going to get to your guys' questions if you have any. So please keep those right there in your holster. Okay. We are going to address those, but I wanted to address, because we didn't have last week with Labor Day weekend, I am going to share my screen with you because I'm going to walk you through this. And again, you may be like, Alex, you maybe you already showed us this, but I don't care, because I just had a very huge epiphany this morning. If you're not aware, leadership with Keller Williams, so regardless, however many people are in leadership across how many market centers, right? The 800 and change, right? We have a call every Monday morning with Mark King and Jason Abrams. Okay. And in case you don't know, Mark King is the president of Keller Williams Realty, and then Jason Abrams is the head of industry, both extremely talented individuals. And this morning, they go, hey, guy, and so I'm going to let you in on a little like inside, they go, they shared with us, they go, do you know that right now lead generation is the topic, right? Even teams that, go listings or leads, listings, leverage, right, are 3 L's. They go, even if they have figured out all 3, they're revisiting their lead generation right now. Right? Like, we need more business. So even the talented of the talented that you may be like, I wish I was getting business like them, they're back on square one being like, I got to figure out lead gen. Okay. Like, I got to figure out more business right now. Hey, I'm great at leveraging. Like, I can nail a listing appointment, but like, I got to get those conversations to be able to take advantage of those skills and keep people's jobs on my team and so forth. Right. So what I want to share with you guys is step by step. I want to make sure that every single one of you who are, number 1, on the call, number 2, watch this after the fact. I know we have a couple people who, because of their jobs, definitely watch this and text me after they watch it. So this is to you as well. So one of the things that I don't know if every agent knows, but we finally are actually doing something with Connect on the command site, right? So none of this should be foreign to you guys, right? Every single one of you should know what command looks like. So you should be like, I know exactly where you are, Alex, but just in case, I'm just on my command dashboard, okay? And I want all of you to know I'm going to connect, okay? By the way, if you're curious, this third one, so there's no confusion, pretty sure there's nobody on this call that should have access to that, because that's strictly for our leadership team. That's our back end of the market center. Okay. So in your world, it should pretend that that's not there. You should have command and connect, and that would be perfect for you as an agent with Keller Williams. If you click on connect, they are now building this out as a learning center for our agents. So I'm not saying you don't want to head over to kwconnect.com anymore. It's still important to go over there because there's still a plethora of things over there, but they are organizing this to be very focused on lead generation, right? Primarily. Then there's going to be other topics as well, okay, including, commanding your business with command, the 24 topics in the MREA and so forth, okay? What I want you guys to know is two things. There is a lead generation section that they are highlighting right now. So if you click learn more, you will see that the latest content is number one, the TCPA, because I want you to know this is how cool Gary Keller is. Keller Williams got fined $40 million in TCPA fines. And he just wrote the check for it. But I don't know if I would ever want to have to write that check again. So he did make it clear next time it's on you guys, Market Center. So this is me as leadership stressing, while we talk about lead generation, make sure that your lead generation is TCPA compliant. If that doesn't mean anything to you, think do not call list and you're calling people on it, basically, okay? Now, there is this little flow chart that explains it in better detail. Not what we're here for today, but I always got to throw that in there because I understand how much of a pain that is. Right here, guys, I want you to know there are playbooks and one-pagers and videos, right? So agent referrals, there are 16 assets that KW has specifically moved over here to this Connect. If you go, hey, guess what? I want to do agent referrals better. I go to the events. I know there's all the people in the referral tab, under command. I have a great opportunity to meet people with other brokerages and, they don't network amongst each other the same way we do. Whatever the situation, you can see that there are topics and videos here that you can watch. And this little arrow over here, right next to view all. So you guys can see, unlock opportunity with KW land and assemble your winning agent to agent referral strategy and so forth. Okay. Now, that being said, you can see there's all different topics, right? Events, database essentials, right? Sarah, you're talking about calling your database. Maybe there's a video here that could help you in some shape or form with your database. Farming, FSBOs and expired, just one asset at the moment, but I'm sure they will get more in there. And then other lead generation essentials, okay? Now, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna click on connect here again because I want it to reset. And I want you guys to know that if you scroll down, eventually there's going to be quick links right here. Okay. Under quick links, there are going to the Mega Agent Camp 2023, right? We just got back here from August. If you click on that, in here are going to be one-pagers from the highlighted agents at Mega Camp. Them literally, like, their market center says, you're doing something awesome and getting awesome results. And they submitted their names to Jason and Mark. Jason interviewed them and said, you should be on stage. That's how that works, okay? Doesn't automatically means that they're a millionaire agent or anything. They could be right there being like, I couldn't make my car payment 6 months ago, but I just figured this out and it's done tremendous things for my business, right? Like, I want you to know that's how real it got at Mega Camp. One guy was like, yeah, that Range Rover I bought when things were good, like I had to go and hide it in the garage for 6 months, right? Like, it was not just highlighting like, hey, here's somebody making 100 million a year and you should be like them. That was what's so cool about this Mega Camp is they go, no, like who nailed something lead generation wise, and it doesn't matter that maybe you weren't finding success 6 months ago, but you're finding it now, Okay. So when you scroll, you can see here, agent business models. I didn't scroll down on purpose, but so you can see some of us are like, I'm a solo agent, right? And then you go, great. Haley Seifert was at Mega Camp and she talked about her solo agent business model. So you can click on that and read through that. Then you go, hey, open houses tend to give us the best immediate results, right? Guys, let's call it what it is. And you know, Brian's an internet lead generator, and I was in my team life when I had it, right? Like, internet leads is not an immediate thing, like especially if you're first getting into it, right? Brian's you're going at it for, well, technically almost you bought Facebook leads going back 5 years, but you've been hitting it hard with internet lead gen in a team for 2 years, right, Brian?
2 years, yeah.
Yeah. And as you know, right, like it doesn't pay off immediately, but if you're willing to put into work for the months and years, then things like success stories like Jenna, right? The pipeline, the bucket of leads are full, and then those people kind of self-nurture, but you keep calling and then you find the people on a monthly basis, right? But what we do know is that open houses, for sale by owner, and expired/canceled are probably the 3 lead gen sources that give the most immediate results, right? Like you could probably find a buyer in an open house if you did 16 hours worth of open houses in a month, right? Like it would be so, you either have to have done the worst houses on the block, right? Took zero consideration to how many times and turns there are to the house, right? You did not put it in the MLS, for 3 to 7 days out, right? So that it registered with third-party websites. You didn't, go door knocking around the neighborhood. My point being is that, right, open houses, I hear agents who have never done an open house before being like, yeah, 40 people walked in. I just got lucky and I got like 3 buyers, right? They're looking right now. So if you're looking for some of the models that were talked about at Mega Camp, here they are. Okay, so right here, host a 7th level open house. You click the link and you guys can see, right? And by the way, please know that some of you will read these and be like, yeah, like that's already what I do. Well, great job. You may make it till section 4 before you go, oh, you know what? I don't do that though. And that's okay. This isn't about that everything's going to be brand new information to you. It could just be the reminder you need on how you should be doing what you're already doing. Okay, so pick the right open house. So this is Fritz Pollard, right? Long Beach, California. He goes, choose houses that are on the market in the first week. Okay, I think we've all experienced that, right? Sometimes you get that fresh, brand new house is going to give the most amount of traffic. The house should have good curb appeal in an area that's easy to add signage, right? I just mentioned that, right? Like, please don't pick the house that takes 10 turns to get to, right? Try to find the house that is 1-2 turns off the main street, right? Choose a house near schools, shopping centers, and recreational areas. Okay. So pre-market the open house, host the open house, and then complete the post open house marketing. Okay. I'm not going to read each one of these one by one. I just want to help you guys get that flow going. Okay. So now you can even see that he provided an expired FSBO example conversation and a golden letter and text example. Okay. So, by the way, I don't know how many of you guys are doing this, but if you have an open house, you should go and door knock the 50 houses around the house. And one of the best things I heard was they go and knock on the door and go, hey, they don't know the person's name, right? But I knock on Sarah's door, except I don't know that it's Sarah, right? But she answers and I'm like, hey, my name's Alex Fajardo. I'm actually an agent with Keller Williams. Hey, I'm not sure if you saw online, but we're actually going to be doing an open house this weekend. And I wanted you to know so that you're not thrown off by the extra traffic on your street. Right? So in case you got some little ones or anything like that, I just want to make sure that there's going to be some more cars driving through here, checking out the neighborhood and visiting our open house, right? By the way, out of curiosity, would it be of any benefit to you to let you know of any of the people who were interested in the neighborhood but didn't like that house? you come from contribution. Hey, there's going to be a lot of traffic, right? And oh, by the way, would it be of any benefit to you to know of anybody who wants in the neighborhood but didn't like that house? AKA the person that's like, well, yeah, I would like to, if they're thinking about selling at any point, be like, well, maybe, right? You can get a maybe or a yes out of those individuals, right? Remember, the open house is only the what? The event. It is not your actual activity. Too many people confuse your open house. The activity is those signs you put out to drive traffic to it, to be able to go door knock the 50 houses and run that script, to be able to do sly broadcasts and spend the $50 to blast out to 500 homes in the neighborhood to let them know about the open house, to even be able to send out a marketing piece if you have enough time and go and flyer the doors, right? See, don't let the open house be your lead gen activity only. Putting a sign in front of the door and standing there and hoping people show up is not lead generation. Okay, so that is just one of them. Let's head back just so that we're on the same page, right? So there was 2 for open houses, 3 of them for social media. By the way, this was only day 1, by the way. So day 2 is further down. So 3 for social media. So by the way, I think I had 2 agents call me in the last week. They're like, hey, Alex, like, what should I do for social media? I'm like, funny, you should ask. Guess what? Don't worry about me being a genius. Here you go. Here are the geniuses up on stage with Gary Keller. Okay. Farming, there were 3 assets for farming, 3 assets for database, 3 for events for anybody. By the way, like, read this. Get 2,000 people at your next event with Danny Barra. Okay. There was 1 asset for seminars. I promise you, you are going to get the biggest high five from me ever if you are the first one to come back and be like, I am crushing it at seminars. Okay. I recall one of the seminar people, I can't remember if it was day 1 or day 2, like, they are getting 200 people in Northern California at their seller seminars. People here in Phoenix, right, Laureen? We celebrate, we're like excited when we get our $1 million people, right? Over there, that's chunk change, right? And she is like, one of them was getting 200 people in Northern California to their seller seminars. Like, yes, people even with what we would consider luxury homes still want to get educated. So please, somebody figure out seminars, okay? Online leads. If you've been thinking about, by the way, I thought this was awesome. What happens, right? Like, sometimes you get the online lead people. Yeah, we're spending, $4,000 a month, $10,000 a month. And you're like, that's not even relatable. Okay. Right. Well, what was great is they had Nikki Miller. She is the CEO of the Lead Syndicate. The Lead Syndicate is a different model. They help their agents work with the lead aggregators out there, like your Op Cities, your Ojos, and so forth, who don't charge any money up front, but what they do is get a referral fee in the back end, and they help those agents be able to close those leads better, right? So you could actually take this one right here and go, maybe I can sign up for Op City, I could sign up for Ojo, My Agent Finder, there's a plethora of those referral ones. By the way, we probably all get those text messages, right? That are like, hey, would you be willing to pay us 25% on stuff that we refer to you? And then we all roll our eyes because you're the 10th person to have sent that text message, right? And who knows, maybe one of them are good. If they don't want any money from you up front, who knows? This 1-pager is from Nikki Miller on their model on how they close stuff from lead aggregators like that. Just FYI, okay? If you do have some coin to spend, Tyler Shields, who, by the way, is we have him coming in either October or November. Don't quote me on that. He was up on stage 2 years in a row, by the way, at MegaCamp. We do have him coming to our market center here by the end of the year. Just FYI, has an entire one-pager on command campaigns. Okay. So you go, I do have a couple $100 I could spend every month. Go read that one. Marketing. If you need help with some marketing, luxury brand, just a brand in general. By the way, isn't this insane? Like every single one of these is a brand new person, right? Well, right here, these two, this was a 2 one-pagers from them, right? This all happened on just day 1 so far, right? 5 assets for referrals and relocation. Networking. What is that? What am I at? Like 15 or 16 one-pagers already, right? No, 20 one-pagers. And MOFR, right? Using email to deliver your MOFR with Ryan Young. By the way, guys, Fellow, okay? Fellow is probably the hottest product on the market right now that helps you with converting your database, okay? Ryan Young is the CEO of it. He was up on stage with Gary, okay, talking about how to deliver your MOFR better. So, yes, he provided a one-pager that probably outlines a lot of what the app that he created does. So I'd probably want to take a look at that, okay? We finally get to day 2. Those of you who are looking to focus on listings, here you go. 5 assets, by the way, okay? 2 on investments, 2 on working with buyers, 4 on leverage, including a whole AI playbook. By the way, I'm going to make a joke with you guys right now. I hope you guys are like getting bored of me scrolling, because that's the point. There is so much crap here that I kind of wish I would already have not been scrolling anymore myself, right? But like there is nothing that not one of you could benefit from just from this one area that I'm in. All I did was scroll down to quick links and click 2023 Mega Agent Camp. All of this is available to you guys. Okay. I don't even know if I made it all the way down. Was wealth the last one? Let's see. Oh, and then additional resources. So Cultural Summit had a little add-on there. Okay. I hope you guys understand that the game right now is strictly lead generation. Does your day and your daily activities reflect the results that you want? If the answer is no, then it's because of 2 reasons. 1, because you really don't care for those results, or 2, you go, I just don't know what my activity should look like to get the results that I want. Assuming that you're on this call because you're number 2 and not number 1, there they are. Go find one that speaks to you and say, I'm going to mimic that. I'm going to mimic it to the best of my ability. Maybe social media isn't your thing, but you'd like it to. Yes, it is scary. Having to make a video every day is terrifying, right? Am I going to sound smart? Am I going to provide value? You know, do people want to hear from me? Have you ever stopped and thought about when you're scrolling through Instagram, if any of those people thought the same thing and didn't make that piece of content that you're sitting there and enjoying? Your point is not to make a piece of content for everyone to like. Your point is to speak to the people who do like it, regardless of the percentage of who do, right? And have some kind of impact. And I want to share this, guys. True story, I call her my sister because I've known her since she was like 5, but we're not blood related. It's my best friend's sister. But my sister's brother-in-law with EXP posted the ABC 15 or AZ Family article, how City of Phoenix just changed like the zoning ordinance to allow for guest houses to be built in the backyard. Did you guys see that?
They did, yeah.
So I totally clicked on it. You know, it was in his story. I clicked on it, so it took me to the actual ABC 15 post or AZ Family. Then I clicked the little forward button on Instagram and shared it to my story. And I kid you not, I picked up a seller listing from that one article.
Interesting.
Hey man, it's so funny you posted this. My parents are thinking about selling their house in the next 6 months, but they're going to go buy a big rig and just hit the road. But if they can build in my backyard, and the best part, he's like in the city of Chandler. So I'm like, that article had nothing to do with you, but what do you like? We all think of Phoenix as the whole thing, right? Like if Phoenix passed it, then it means everybody passed it, right? But, and so it's now all of a sudden I'm spending my Sunday like going through this city of Chandler ordinances. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can build a house as long as the HOA isn't in the way, and he's in a non-HOA area. So there goes that conversation. I'll get them connected to my builder buddy and Adair, let them have their conversations. And I have this potential listing opportunity that no way in hell I would have had prior to that article. I had no relationship to the extent like that. I had no idea they were thinking about selling their house in 6 months. They're ingrained in the city of Chandler. They own a restaurant there. I'm like, I've probably seen the guy twice since high school, right? Like, and go figure, one little post ignites a conversation. I share that as encouragement. I share that as a spark to help you guys know that these playbooks, froze up. Am I back? Okay, perfect. It froze up on my end, but that these playbooks are there to give you the daily activities that you need to get the results that you are looking for. Guys, I say this with all the love in the world, but there is nothing more frustrating than leadership when someone shows up and they're like, yeah, like, you know, I think I'm gonna leave the company because, you know, I'm not getting what I need from here. And I go, you're not getting everything. You're not getting free playbooks. You're not getting, you know, someone that'll pick up the phone. You're not getting a great technology system. Like, was it all too much or too little? Right? The thing is that we talk ourselves into thinking that we're already doing enough. But Crystal, right? I'm a huge, like, if you weren't doing this, would you be working a 40-hour job where you're required to be in a building 40 hours a week, 9 to 5? But we treat our business like it's our full-time job, and we're like, I'm gonna go put in 2 hours a day. I'm not telling you to go lead gen for 8 hours a day. That's not my intention here. But if you were lead genning for a legit 2-3 hours a day, I promise you the other 5 would get filled up really fast. And we would be working a full-time job, except this full-time job, if you're that busy, is probably going to pan out to $250,000 to $500,000 a year as a solo agent. So there is no excuses that we don't know what to do anymore. By the way, guys, 12 years with Keller Williams. I get it, right? Hey, go read the red book isn't the answer to being like, now I know what I'm in the lead gen. Gives you a list of 16 things to do, and you're like, way too much information. There are now legit single individual one-pagers that you can read through, and then one of them should go, holy crap, that's what I'm going to do. Unless you already have your 3 sources of lead gen. And if you do, don't disrupt what's already working. But when the best people in the world I know are still like, we're down 30-40%, is there something else we can do? I'm going to guess that we're all having that conversation. Okay. All right. We got 12 minutes left. I'm going to now digress off that topic, off my high horse. And what questions did you guys have coming into this? What lead gen questions or sales tactic questions do you have that you want to address? If you're worried about going first, use the reaction, you know, you can raise your hand. Crystal unmuted.
I am muted. I actually lost an opportunity 2 weeks ago. 2. the first one was my fault because this is why we talk to our neighbors. Nothing hurts more than seeing the neighbor across the street with a for sale sign. Yeah, so that sucked. And my other neighbors told me about it. So I jumped on it when they told me, but it was literally 48 hours too late. However, learning from that, I did not repeat and did a kind of a better job with connecting some of my neighbors more intentionally. And another did call me and ask me who I worked for because they were moving and she wanted to list with me, but they have a relo company. And she moved so quickly that I didn't quite have the opportunity to work around that, but she was basically saying that the relo company said that they absolutely have to use Caldwell.
Yeah.
And I was under the understanding that you could choose your own agent with a relo company so long as your agent would be agreeable to whatever those terms are, which of course I would do. But when you've got somebody frazzled and wanting to move quickly,
yeah,
it was uncomfortable to push, and I didn't have enough education at that moment to speak to it accurately. So what do we do? Like, how do we fix that? Or where do we find information that we can show them that they can understand that they absolutely can choose an agent they're comfortable with, and that the relocation company can't push them? Or is that even true? And they can.
I've heard it all over the last 12 years. I've heard the extent they're like, hey, I was able to land this because I was willing to agree to their terms. So here's what I would do if I were in your shoes, Crystal, is leverage that same person. Say, I'm not calling you trying to earn your business. I'm not trying to, this is not that phone call. What I'd like to know is, can you tell me who the relo company was? And maybe if you have a point of contact there, and then maybe you can call and say, hey, you're working with this person. I'm not trying to step in and take the business from this Coldwell Banker agent. I'd like to know what I can do in the future in case your name gets brought up again, and see if I can just already have everything in place that you guys know that I'd be okay with this. Right. So,
okay.
And that way you have, I don't know why I can't remember their name right now, the one for Coldwell, who the relo company is, but if I remember it, I'll bring it up. But the real point is that I would take advantage that you do have somebody going through that right now and say, okay, well, yeah, I don't have that one that I can earn, but let me leverage it for the name of the relo company. Maybe there's a point of contact. Then what you can proactively leverage command to make a design piece that you go, if this ever comes up again, and I got something on PDF that and mail.
Right.
Hey, guess what? You can work with me. I've talked to so-and-so. I just cannot remember who that relocation company is off the top of my head, but
yeah, that's the second one I've lost that way this year. Really.
In that sense, yeah.
I had another buyer client that was coming back to Chandler from the Carolinas. And yep, same thing.
Yep.
He was like, I would, but I'm like, but I can. And he was like, no, they won't let me. And our job is supposed to assist in making this easier for people.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to look at somebody and realize, like, I'm not going to be helpful pushing in that manner.
This is a neighbor also, right? Or no?
No, it was a friend.
It was a friend,
kind
yeah.
of acquaintance, not a friend, but somebody that I've nurtured and, was obviously seeking their business.
Yeah, it's like bothering me that it's when it's like at the tip of your tongue, and I'm like, I swear I know the name of their relo company, but anyways, leverage that. Just reach back out and say, hey, no hard feelings, all good, but could you tell me the name of the relocation company, because I want to try to do some homework in case this comes up again. So
oh yeah, and that I can do easily. I have that relationship with her, so
yeah. But that's a good one. There you go. And then you can come back and tell us who that relo company was. So
yeah.
Perfect. All right.
I had a problem this week with the same thing. I was talking to a client and he said, I'd love to use you as an agent, but I'm going through USAA. And he said they won't allow me to use any other client realtor but from what they give me for a loan. And I said, you're kidding. He said, no, we're not allowed to. They assign the realtor. They assign it.
They 100% make it seem that way. Like, just FYI, they do make it sound like you have to use our person or else kind of a thing, or you're not going to get the package, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Crystal nailed it, is because they already know that they don't have to worry about having any conversations regarding the kickback and commission, you know, to help offset those costs is really what they're doing. So it's like it's honestly no different than like the homes for veterans, right? They're like, what you're really getting approved for is that you've already agreed that you'll give us back money from your commission. So, like, and I hate it because it's such a great cause, but that's the whole purpose, is like, you've signed the piece of paper saying you'll give us 1%. So yeah. So the same thing with the relo, like they've just turned it into, remember, it's all just money making operations. So, but yeah, but all good. All right. Any other lead gen questions? Something that happened in your lead gen, script handling, objection that you were thrown at, not getting results on something that you're doing that we can expand on further?
So I got one.
Yes.
Okay, so we actually just sent our first mailers out to our farm. So we have 1,300 pieces that went out. So a second one's coming out at the end of this week. We got magnets that are coming for football schedule. So what else can we do in terms of, because we're kind of trying to do an 8x8, what other pieces of material can we put out there? And are we missing something in our process?
Yeah, don't hate me. Are you ready?
Hey, I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, let me put some context and repeat back, right? By the way, sales scripts, right? So what I heard you say, what was the first piece that went out? You told me that
introduction.
Introduction. And was there any call to action on the introduction?
I have the flyer somewhere. Maybe.
Okay. Number 2 was you're doing football schedule, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying not to have how well I know you play a part in this. I want to give like the general answer too. Okay. Internet leads will teach us that it's okay to build a relationship with people because they're down the road anyways, right? I feel differently about mailers. It should be a barrage of call to action, call to action, call to action, call to action, call to action. All 8 weeks should be call to action. Okay. After your 8 weeks, if you go, but that's a farm I want to stay in, cool. Then go and do the football schedule, then go do the recipe card. Your first intro to people need to be, here's the value I provide as an agent, and you're going to hear about it for the next 8 weeks. And then you know who I am in your world and why you're going to keep getting a postcard, even if you rip them up in half and throw them in the trash. And then I'm going to do the typical farming. Here's the postcard, here's my event, here's my door knock, just to say that we were just seeing if there's anything you need from us in the neighborhood, right? Like, it really, if you're going to go 8 weeks of mailing, you want it to count. And what I would then challenge you is, and by the way, possibly the playbooks can help you with this. Do you have the, I'm going to use a word that we've been throwing around because I legit have been wanting to address this from a market center level, right? Do you have the ultimate listing solution for people? See, what I think is missing in flyers is people, like, why does somebody go to 72 sold? Well, number one, repetition. That's why I feel the way. Like, 72 sold, the only thing that they don't do that's a call to action is when they're like, we're a sponsor of the Diamondbacks and the Phoenix Suns. That's it. Everything else is a call to action, correct? Right. So, and by the way, I don't want to come across as emotionless, heartless, plug in whatever word you might be thinking. We just want the piece of business. We'll build rapport with them once they call us. Like the tactics of like, here's a recipe card, here's the schedule. I love that for a database because they already know who you are. Someone might put your thing up there, right? Like, and if you want to throw that in as a bonus, but when I hear 8x8, if I'm going to spend, I'm going to assume your neighborhood size is 400. And unless you went and got your business, you got the business account with the post office, then you're paying 60 cents a postcard right now, right? By the way, if you don't know that, you can go set up a business account with them if you have an LLC and then get them down to like 35 cents a postcard. But if you're at 60 cents a postcard, you're at $240 a week, right? And I'm trying to make that 240 count because by the end of the month, I'm at $1,000 for one deal. Yeah, I think we would all exchange that here if we knew it was going to happen for sure. At 8 weeks, if you don't have a deal, you're at $2,000 and you look up and you go, well, is making an impression worth $2,000? Based on everybody's reactions, I'm going to guess that answer is no, right? Like, no, nobody here would feel good at $2,000 being like, I made an impression. So, do you have a call to action that articulates your value proposition as to how you can solve a problem if anybody in there in that 2-month period has a problem to be solved? And I mean this, and by the way, everybody, I have an extremely deep relationship with Brian Balin. He's one of the few to trust me as a team leader since day one, right? So, right, literally day one. I know that you do have a value proposition, and you know just as well as I do, a cardinal schedule is not your value proposition.
Right.
It can be great add-ons. That could be a good little route for the people on the team to go door knock the neighborhood or just flyer it for you for free once you get it from the title company. But when I'm thinking about $240 a week, bro, like this is how we can help you. And that's going to be different for each of us. I'm happy to share mine, and then we'll wrap this up because it's 1 o'clock, right? Like I literally envision, that I'm my postcards, like if you need a rehab, we can help you. If you want cash offers from up to potentially 61 investors, I can help you. Like if you want to sell your property as is, I can help you. And if you got a gorgeous home, like click here to check out our marketing, right? Call us today. Like there isn't anything that you need that we can't do. Cash offers, rehab, as is, top end marketing, right? Like some combination of all that stuff. Like there isn't anything that we can't do for you. That's what somebody needs to see 8 times in a row for 8 weeks and being like, we've been thinking about selling. This guy seems pretty impressive.
So what I'm hearing is I need to do a 9x9.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and pivot and add another week. Yes. Yeah. There is a company who does this for like investors and wholesale companies. REI, I think it's REI Marketing, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like there's a lot of people that probably use that wording. Dan Barrett, is that them? Oh, REI Marketing Weekly is their podcast. Marketing Pro. I'm not telling you to go sign up for this person. What they charge is insanity. What I do want you to know though is REI, try reiprintmail.com. reiprintmail.com. That will give you an idea. They don't show off like a ton of postcards, but I think they have a couple of examples that you kind of get the idea. Like, this is what we can do for, like, they put you on they do a 12. I think when I was going to consider signing up with them, they do like a 12-week marketing campaign that's it. They hit 4,000 homes, and they're just like, thinking about selling your home, thinking about buying, we can give you a cash offer. We can do this, doom, right? And they just hit it. If you can spend $250 a week, literally you should go like you go, I can commit to that for 3 months, 4 months. You just go nonstop until you physically go, I can't stomach spending another week on, or sending it out weekly, like whether that's because of manpower or because of budget. Like, it should just be like boom, 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 boom. By the way, think about your internet leads. Does your ad ever change regardless of how many months you do it for? We know that 7% are going to sell in a neighborhood, which if you divide that by 12, that's almost meaning that only half of the people in 0.5% of the people in there at any given moment are thinking about buying or selling real estate. So your goal is that if you can make it to 6 months of nonstop weekly, that you should be a top choice, even if amongst 3 other people, for anybody who thinks about it in a 6-month period. You've now brought that up that 3% of the people in there which is only 12 in a 400 neighborhood. You go, you are sending a postcard to try to have an impact on 12 people in a 6-month period, and hopefully 25% of them use you, which would give you 4 listings, which would then more than offset, because in the price point that you bat at, you're going to be running at $60,000 in GCI for $12,000 spend, a 5x return. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would be looking up leveraging ChatGPT and or looking up stuff like REI print mail, and for ideas on what your messaging and structure and color scheme and everything should look like. So
nice. Appreciate it, Alex.
Sorry, phone keeps ringing. It's like people know that I'm available at 1 o'clock. So all right, guys, I got to pivot. Good call. Go leverage playbooks. Go fill in your daily activities. Email me, call me if you need anything. And great questions today. Appreciate you guys. Later, everybody.